Well, hello again. In the previous video, I explained how to do the first part of the reading and use of English section of the proficiency exam, C2 level of the Cambridge exam. But I also explained that the format has changed a little bit. So while this is very similar to the exercise you would see in the real C2 exam, now it's changed a little bit. Now you have one long text with 8 gaps, and in the past it used to be like this. You'd have 3 short texts with 6 gaps in each, so 18 in total. So it was a bit longer, part 1 in the past. Anyway, point is we can still use this to help us get through the first part of the C2 exam, because basically it's the same thing. You have some gaps in a text and 4 possible options to fill those gaps with. So the short text we're looking at in this video is called Wild Food here on examenglish.com. And well, let's just start reading and see if we can think first what kind of a word is going to go in each gap, and then have a look at the options and choose the best one. Okay, so wild food. While searching for news online, I stumble upon some photos of men tramping in the park. Tramping not in the sense of being a vagrant, being a vagabond and living in the park because they don't have a house. No, tramping in the sense of treading, of walking basically in the park. Their intention, it appears, is to find whatever wild treasures are growing amongst the hedgerows with they can garnish the dinner plates. So they're looking for what this writer calls wild treasures. So I assume plants. Maybe they're looking for animals. I hope they're not hunting in the park. But okay, they're looking for wild treasures to find whatever wild treasures are growing among the hedgerows with, I think we need a preposition, with they can garnish their dinner plates. We could also have the with at the end of the sentence, but as this is kind of like academic English, we prefer not to finish a sentence with a preposition. Let's have a look at the options that we have then. So, with what, with them, with these, with which. Yeah, with which. Yeah, with which they can garnish their dinner plates. Yeah, I think that looks good. There was a hairy one and a Danish one. I assume they're talking about the people, not the wild treasures that they were finding in the park. Strange way to describe them. One is hairy and the other one is from Denmark. Okay, there was a hairy one and a Danish one, and it turns out they're swapping tips. Okay, so they're giving each other advice. Okay. The Danish one spies some slimy mushrooms on a tree trunk and lyrical about their pickling potential. So this is an expression which means that he's basically praising, saying how good something is and how good these mushrooms are for pickling food. Okay, so, or for being pickled, probably. Yeah, probably for being pickled. I don't think you would use mushrooms to pickle food. I think you would pickle the mushrooms. No, you put them in vinegar and put them in a jar. That's pickling, isn't it? Yeah. So it's an expression which basically means to poetically say how good something is, and sings lyrical. No, sings song, singing lyrics, kind of sounds right. Waxes, exclaims, declares. It's waxes. Yes, he waxes lyrical. To wax lyrical, to talk about with hyperbole. With hyperbole, usually. No, to be hyperbolic, saying how great something is. You wax lyrical about. In this case, about the mushrooms' pickling potential. Okay, good. The hairy one, the hairy one holds a droopy weed and praises its clove-like flavour. So it's a weed, so basically a plant that we don't like because it kills off other plants, kind of like a parasitic plant, basically a weed. And so he holds the weed. I think we're going to need some kind of preposition or adverb here, no? How does he hold it? Well, I guess he holds it up. Let's see if that's one of the options. Up front? Hold something up front? Possibly. Doesn't quite sound right. Hold something aloft? Yeah, that means to pick it up. So I think it's going to be that now. To hold, he holds a droopy weed aloft. Yeah, that sounds right to me. Holds it above? Well, it would have to be above something else. So no, it can't be that. Holds it ahead, again, it would probably be to hold it ahead of something else. Yeah, I think we're going to go with aloft. So he holds a droopy weed aloft and praises its clove-like flavour. So it tastes like clove. He waxes lyrical about its clove-like flavour. Take care, though, he warns. It looks very like a poisonous species. The same words of caution were to a clump of berries, which were apparently to be used more like vegetables than fruit. So they used the same words, take care, when they were talking about some berries. So the same words of caution were like given to a clump of berries, used. Yeah, ascribed sounds pretty good. The same words of caution were ascribed, featured, no, lane, characterized. Well, we're not characterizing anything. The berries could be characterized as dangerous. Lay, you wouldn't really lay words. Featured, an article can feature words, I guess. If this were an article that we were describing, we could say it featured a description of the berries. Nah, it's the same words were ascribed to a clump of berries, which were apparently to be used more like vegetables than fruit. Well, pardon me for being boring, but I've no of spending my preprandial hours traipsing round the woods, only to over later on. Okay, so first of all, I think what we're going to say here is, excuse me, pardon me for being boring, but I'm not going to do that. No, so I've no desire to spend, but desire of spending, no. I've no wish of spending, possibly. No, I think it's going to be, it's also, I think I've no wish to spend. I've no intention, no goal, no objective of spending. Nah, the expression is, I've no intention of spending my prandial referring to food, meal times. I've no intention of spending my preprandial hours traipsing round in the woods, only to over later on. So I think this is an expression which is going to mean to die, because they're talking about how these berries or some weeds might be poisonous and they need to be careful. So I'm not going to spend all my time walking around the woods looking for berries and weeds only to die later on because I get poisoned. Well, there's an expression with over, to keel over. Let's see if there's any other possibilities. To fall over, that doesn't really mean die. Fall over is just accidentally falling on the floor, so no. To drop over, again, no. Drop, you can drop dead, that's an expression. Plunge, no, that tends to be into water or into a hole. So it is to do with falling. Now, the word is keel, to keel over, and that actually is kind of interesting. Keel is like the fin on the bottom of a boat. So obviously when a boat gets turned over in a storm or by a wave or something, we say the boat keels over. And we use it in a figurative sense to mean die, basically. Okay, only to keel over later on. So thanks, but no thanks, hairy guy and Danish guy. I'll leave the foraging to you. Okay, let's just quickly check the answers as if it were necessary. And we've got them all right again. How did you do? Did you do well? I guess I'll do another video like this sometime shortly from now again. Bye.